Hello there, yes, hopefully we're in iHeart right now on the station, the politics show. I'm Tommy, and I'm going to kind of do a wee talk on Parliament, and the Scottish Parliament especially right now. And mainly because we have a referendum coming up on the 18th of September, and we have a lot of people going about wondering what it's going to be like. My take on it is people should start running for election. So I believe that people should be getting themselves together with some sort of manifesto. Doesn't it be fanciest enough to be able to represent the people, yeah, in some kind of capacity in your area. As a local person, you can be a joiner, a plumber, anything you want to be. And the idea behind it is so you can actually just run for Parliament. It's about £500 to put your name forward. You get that back if you win, which is good. You can register a political party as well, or register yourself as independent, which means that you run without a political party, but only the manifesto that you have for your consistency, your area, and that sort of thing. So my argument is that it's about time that people started taking responsibility for their country, really. And it's not just about voting for the politician. No harm in the political politician. They're very good people, a lot of them, and do very, very hard work as well, and very good work. But it's really about, it really is about people of all denominations of life becoming MPs, MSPs, members of Scottish Parliament. And you could also talk about England as well, like the MPs. It's about MPs in England becoming everyday people. So it's about really putting the power back out of the people's hands. That's what it's about. And I would like to see that happen. And the reasons I'd like to see it happen is because of the crisis we have in Britain of the disconnection between government on the main level, local government on the kind of sub level, and the people who are definitely at the bottom level of the whole chain of it. And it's a shame that has to be that way. The doors seem to shut. Once you vote people in, the doors seem to shut on all these offices. The receptionists turn the light on for the reception to be open, and the emails are there, and the phone lines are there for you to phone, and you can't get near the politician unless you go to their surgery. And if you want to have an everyday issue talked about in Parliament, it doesn't get talked about most of the time. It's only the stuff that's relevant to the political agenda, that's that party's manifesto, that is then thematic with whatever the other agenda with thematic with whatever problems happen in that agenda. But anything beyond that, no chance. Bedroom tax in Scotland and England, perfect example of how a government is so disconnected from its people. It's happy to squeeze the people, all the finances out of them, and then charge the people who are really poor at a certain price for an extra bedroom. That's these people that get like benefit type stuff, like housing benefit and so on, job seekers allowance, sickness benefit, income support, personal independence payments and so on. They get the rent paid for them, housing benefit, and the government said if you're a single person you can't have 2 bedrooms because we're not paying for them. So if you do have them, you'll need to pay for one and we'll pay for one. That's how it's went. People can't afford it. People get rent arrears constantly. There's an example of a disconnection of a political establishment that is there to represent the people, but is not representing the people. What it's doing is it's representing the elite itself. Yeah, which would be all your power-hungry, money millionaires and so on that live in Britain or have interests in Britain, whether it's directors or companies, whatever it may be. The governments protect them because that's the thing that keeps the money going. So it's all about money, it's not about people. That's the thing. The only time the people come in about it is when the governments or the companies want money off the people. Usually it's the government goes and asks for taxes. And think about every pound you've got in this country, how much of it do you actually get stuff for? What's the amount that's actually taxed? Because it was 20% here, and your taxed income tax as well on that pound, and so on and so on and so on, until you get to the stage where you no longer have a value in that pound. Yeah, and this is all because you have disconnection in government, disconnection with the reality, which is the people are suffering as the rich people, the banks most of all, are actually doing okay. And even though some banks make losses, they still make money more than the individual person. So, and they're still always going to be there because they're institutions directly associated with stability of the countries, which is England and Scotland. We're not talking about Wales or Ireland or anything like that, or Northern Ireland. We're not bothered by that right now because we're looking at the two main ones. And the two main ones are Scotland and England. And we're looking at it in particular because we want to look at the referendum that's coming up, and we're trying to then say, well, post-referendum, whether it's a yes or no vote, it doesn't matter at this stage on this particular case, this concept of run for Parliament. People should actually wake up. Everybody that listens to this that lives in the United Kingdom, wake up and look at the thing that's happening to you. And then think, would I be able to run for Parliament, or do I know somebody can run for Parliament? Is there somebody there that would be able to do that? And the answer is yes. There'll be plenty of people in the community that will be able to run for Parliament, that have an interest in politics, that have an interest in community, and can run for Parliament. So the thing with it is, if you can convince, or somebody can convince you or whatever, that they're going to run for Parliament, then do it. Do it. If you don't win, you don't win, but do it. And show the political establishment that's there that they are not the only ones, because the more they think they're only ones, the bigger their ego gets, the more self-esteem they get with their decision making, their cognitive ability becomes limited because they can only see as far as their manifesto. Their critical evaluation of the people and what the people's needs are becomes diluted because, again, they have a disconnection because they don't know how to talk to people, they don't know how to market themselves in a fashion that is a brand, like Labour, Conservative, Liberal Democrats, SNP, you've got Socials and so on. People only know how, these parties only know how to market that brand, which is their political party name and what they stand for. And that identity fuses together to form mission statements and what their route will be ahead and what they'll do over 5 years and so on. It's good, right? It's good if it works, and it doesn't work anymore. It only works for a few. So those few that listen to this show, vote Conservative, Labour, whoever you want to do. Vote them. Because the masses out there, this is where it gets interesting, the masses that don't vote are the ones that I'm talking to, at least. And if you do vote and you think I'm talking sense, then you know as well then you should be up there running for Parliament. And if you're 30 or 40 people running for the same seat, who cares? Do it. Because you'll get votes, it's democratic, it's a democracy we live in, it's all above board, there's nothing wrong with it, and people will decide, the voters will decide if they want you or not. It's as simple as that. Now, the 60% say, or even it's a 70% now, isn't it? Just nearly 67% actually exactly, that don't vote. They're the 67% that actually think, should I run for Parliament? And the answer is yes, of course you should. The 33% that vote, sometimes 40, just depends, they already turn up, do their thing, like myself, do your vote, and you vote for X amount of parties, whatever it may be. This time round, you could start voting for someone else that's outside the parties, or run yourself. Be your own MSP candidate and run yourself. Be an independent. Now my idea is that you have an umbrella type group, so you have this independent movement, and it would be all these people who are independent candidates under the one thing, which is that you have a sort of, like, maybe say you had a 10-point manifesto for talking sake, a bit in defence and education and health and so on, and what you would do is it would become thematic with the individuals, so it becomes all the individuals feed off that, right, even though they're independent, because their independent thought comes from what they need in their area. Now, we already kind of have that already under political systems, parties and so on. But the problem is that the people who run for Parliament are part of a party mechanism. So therefore, they're not running as individuals to actually do their best with their mindsets and all the rest of it. They're running for the party, and they run for the party interest. So the party can stay in power, and they become a representation of that party, and they're able to then represent the people based on what that party is saying they can do. And that person can't change at any time really, unless they go at the top of the party or get something changed through the bureaucratic processes in that party, which means then that that person's either stationary and can't do anything, or they can go in and try and get things changed, but it's a lengthy process. Whereas somebody who's individual doesn't have that problem. They may be part of a bigger group of independent movers, but what they are is they're actually moving in their own direction for the people in their area without the limitation and constraints of these big political institutions such as Labour, Conservative and so on, so and the Liberal Democrats. So you pretty much, you have the ability then to be a free rider on it, and you're able to do what the people are asking. When they're saying to you they want something, you're able to then go and represent them properly with the protection of the kind of main umbrella group as well. So if you're not voting something, you can get a majority. As long as everybody agrees beforehand, you can agree this is going to be a vote that's a yes vote here for we're going to put steel railings up round all the grass parks or something like that. There's things can get done. There would be things getting moved there, mountains getting moved in some fashion that you couldn't move right now because the present political elite system that we have in the United Kingdom means that there's some sort of determinism there. You know what's determined by the end of it. You know what the thing is. It's like almost inevitable. It's inevitable that it's going to happen because you can see it as you know the systems, as you know the habits of the country, the habits of the people ruling it, and so on. You know what's coming because of that. And this is a problem because people know. This is where apathy starts because they think, what's the point of voting? Because we know what's going to happen. We get 5 more of the same thing, 5 more years of the same thing. Where in real reality, you can change that by standing up and having a vote. And voting for somebody who's independent. Or you can stand up and run. And vote. At the same time, vote for yourself. And try and win a seat. So you could actually, you as a person, could have some power to change things with the guidance of your constituents. And that is the key element to this. Why people should run for Parliament all over the country. The Scottish elections are in 2016, the English elections 2015, I think it's May the 5th, 2015. You've got the referendum, obviously on the 18th September in this country, in Scotland. Who knows if it's split or no, I've no idea, nobody has. The polls are a bit, this way and that way. There's 50% saying yes one minute, there's 30% saying yes the next minute, and then there's a no campaign, it's looking strong, then it's looking weak, and so on and so on. So it's unpredictable. England are unpredictable too because they want an answer. There's a lot at stake for 50 odd million people, and the arguments are that 5 million people shouldn't actually make a decision for 55 million. So it's interesting how it's all going. But either way, both countries require an election eventually, which is a Scottish election and an English election, Westminster. Regardless of our Scottish MPs in that one or not, there's got to be 2 groups of elections happening for 2 political institutions such as Scottish Parliament and Westminster. And this is where people should actually wake up and look at things. If you don't vote already, why don't you stand for Parliament? It comes back to that every time. If you do vote already, who do you vote for? Have you done what you wanted? If not, why do you stand for Parliament? Why don't you go in a community and choose 1 or 2 people to stand for all the seats and everybody supports them? There were people in community centres, hospitals and schools that are very capable of doing the job. There's people who are walking the streets that are very capable of doing the job. There's people who are walking the streets and in jobs as well that need your help. If you've got any vision, any idea of how things could be better, if you've got any inkling that you could actually see faults in what we have already and you've got an idea how to change it, why would you keep that to yourself? Why would you not go and try and put it to good use? In this case, run for Parliament. Register yourself with your local council as a candidate to run the Scottish Parliaments. If you're in England, do the same. Register for the English Parliaments and run the election and try and win a seat. And show that the people can stand up and start to rule themselves, start to try and break through that glass ceiling of political establishment and get into this whole world of, eventually get into the whole world of equality, egalitarianism, fairness. Everybody's got what they need, everybody contributing, and so on and so on. Make a better lifestyle for yourself, as Alfred Adler would call it. the individual psychologist himself. So there's certainly kind of things there, I think, reasons there why people should run for Parliament. And I would say particularly young people who are smart and clever, but smart, and somebody at 20 or 22 or whatever it would be, whatever age you wanted to do it at, could run for Parliament. You know, you go and do it. You know, unless there's an age bracket, I don't think there is the last time I read it, but you go and you do it, and you become some sort of representative for your fellow citizens, and become important enough to make decisions which would be brought about by what the people want, not by what the party wants, the political parties. So that's what I say, run for Parliament. I was at a thing, a public meeting thing, over in Paisley. It was a socialist case for independence, it says. I'm not a socialist person, I'm not a member of any party. I do help certain things here and there. A guy called Jim Sillars was there, and he talked so much sense. I mean, like, talked so much sense, so he did. Absolutely amazing sense. And you know, I would say that man has got vision, and you should Google him. And I would say as well that he's got nothing to gain for it. He's 76 years of age, he says. He's not got any money for it, he's got nothing. He wants to open up the people's minds, the political class. He wants to show them that you can change. Yep. And the working class, he wants to show that you can stir it up a wee bit and get people moving. Pretty much in a socialist way he wants it, being people moving forward to represent people. You don't need big politicians for it. So he was an interesting guy. He brought up, in Scotland, he brought up stuff about the oil and all that and things, and there's a lot of things, a lot of nationalism there, I would say, which we'll not go into. But the main thing for him is that people should run for Parliament, and I agree with him, because I've wrote it in the People's Book for many a month now, and I think there's lots of groups springing up now because of this independence movement that are non-political, and it's starting to look as if people will change the whole political framework in this country. And I say this country as United Kingdom right now, because Britain is Britain right now, and it should be recorded as that, I think, because even though there's two parliaments, the Scottish Parliament could be shut down tomorrow. It's not a real parliament, it's only there as a devolved parliament. Worth a watching that. So it's going to be interesting what happens in a few months. That's my little politics show. There'll be one tomorrow as well, another one. I'm going to do a few this week. There's quite a lot to talk about in Iraq. I can see that developing as well, the Middle East. It's quite interesting as well. The Russia thing seemed to have calmed down, but might come back. There's a lot of regional stuff there happening with, I know I'm going off topic with elections, but Ukraine and that obviously still got its crises. And then you've got the Iraq, and you've got this kind of new group came in, the 4,000 of them, I think, soldiers, started invading Iraq, and they're looking at maybe Syria, they're looking at Israel and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes in the media, and I think we're going to follow that in the media and just see what the interpretations are and take it from there. But at the moment it looks like there's some trouble in the Middle East. There's always some sort of trouble in the Middle East, which is worth a kind of looking and trying to analyse why that is, and we'll do a wee show later this week on that and a few other things. So thanks for listening, and I hope that made sense. It was a wee bit of rabble in some way, because you know it's not really been said before, run for Parliament. So what do you do, how do you word it? And I just think the best way to word it is try and get it out through the microphone at your ears, so that you're able to take some of it in, and then maybe listen back to it a wee bit so you can see if there's anything you missed, and then work out your own interpretation from there. Yeah, so thanks very much again, and talk to you later. Bye bye. Oh.